Welcome aboard the virtual ship with Fellowship Chicago. While we can't have church traditionally, we can still be the church consistently. New method, same message. New platform, same power. New season, same God. Now, let's go into our worship experience.
What's happening, family? Welcome back to another edition of our Refuel services. Wherever you are, go ahead and drop an anchor in the chat. Let us know where you're tuning in from right there on the virtual ship. We're so glad to have you back on board. I promise you today, we're sailing to a great destination, and I am grateful that you've decided to join us on that journey. Listen, Pastor Sharpe preached a great message. It was last year around October. He preached a message entitled, Make It Do What It Do. He dealt with breast cancer. He dealt with domestic violence. Those are issues that we deal with each and every October. And so Pastor Sharpe, in a fantastic way, looked at Acts chapter 27, and we learned how we could make it do what it do. Before we get into that word, I want to give you an opportunity to give. 7 ways to give are coming up on the screen. And I invite you, ma'am, sir, young boy, young girl, give tonight. It is no secret what God can do, what he's done for others. He'll do the same for you. And be generous in your giving, because many of us know that you can't beat God giving. And because of our gifts, God has blessed us immensely. So we want to encourage you to continue to be a gift to the body of Christ. Pastor Sharpe talked about this past week how giving releases certain endorphins, certain serotonins, and certain oxytocins in our systems that mentally and physiologically giving does something to us. So we encourage you to give out of the depths of your heart and your soul tonight. Before we get into this word, I also want to remind you that we're excited about all that's taking place here at the ship. We are celebrating Pastor Anthony Spencer this Sunday at 4 p.m. Please come out and be a blessing to him, because he's been such a blessing to us. We're also looking forward to game night on October 28th. Right there in our sanctuary. We're going to turn the sanctuary into a carnival of sorts. We want to encourage you to go to Fellowship Chicago to RSVP. And we are so excited about Women's World Day of Prayer. That is coming up on November the 6th and 7th. Go right now to fellowshipchicago.com to register for the classes that will be taking place on Monday, November 7th. I promise you, you will not be disappointed that you did. We're going to get into that word now. Make it do what it do. I'll be back after the message. Peace.
Come with me to the book of Acts, chapter 27, verse 43 and 44. Acts chapter 27, verse 43 and 44. Paul has just been shipwrecked in a storm called the Euroclydon. Let the church say Euroclydon. If you moonwalk backwards in your Bible to verse 14, you'll see that this storm was called Euroclydon. This was no average storm. And so here's what happens at the end of this narrative. Here it is, Acts chapter 27, verse 43, 44. But the centurion, willing to save Paul, kept them from their purpose. He's speaking of, they were going to kill all the prisoners. Paul was a prisoner with other prisoners. But the centurion, one of them said, no, we're going to keep them from killing y'all today, and commanded that they which could swim cast themselves first into the sea. Now the ship is falling apart. And a centurion spoke up and said, y'all ain't killing none of these folks today. And then they yelled out, whoever can swim, jump off and get to land. Then verse 44 comes, and the rest, some on boards and some on broken pieces of the ship. And so it came to pass that they escaped all safe to land. Listen, some swam, others on boards, and some on broken pieces. Are y'all with me? Some swam, others on boards, and some on broken pieces. I want to talk today from this thought very simply. Make it do what it do. I need you to talk to me. I need you to talk to me. Whether you're watching online or whether you're in the room, I need you to talk to me. Holler at me and say, make it do what it do. Tell somebody around you, but just make it do what it do. Just make it do We come from a people who have always had to live by this saying, make it do what it do. You know what that means, even though you're trying to act like you don't know what it means. You know what it means to make it do what it do. That's when you just have to make a way out of no way. Something's not working out, but you got to make it work anyway. That's called make it do what it. That's called when you run out of your containers, you use the I can't believe it not butter margarine container to put whatever you need. That's called making it do what it. That's called when you can't lay your hair down the right way, so you get whatever you can to put them edges down to make sure they stay when you don't have exactly what you need. That's called making it do what. That's called when you didn't buy the right kind of blouse and you don't want to expose too much, so you go get a safety pin, or you go get some and you just put it right in the right spot so it keep. Y'all trying to act. It's called make it do. That's called when you don't have a lot of money to go to the end of the month and you have to make it stretch. So instead of you getting each dinner a new dinner every night, you make a big pot of some soup, a big pot of chili, a big pot of spaghetti, so you can stretch that thing up. That's called making it do. Do I have some African American people who understand what it means to make it do? That's the beauty of HBCUs. These were institutions that were founded before 1964, before the Civil Rights Act, when black people were not welcome into other academic institutions in the country. These institutions were started so that black people could have somewhere to go to. So now we are not exclusively black colleges and universities, but we are historically black colleges and universities. And a lot of people now critique us for being racist. No, boo, you got the story wrong. We didn't start so that we could be separate. We started because y'all didn't want us with you and you separated us. So we decided to make it do what it do. And up came schools that I just named. In October 3rd of 1904, Dr. Mary McLeod Bethune opened the Daytona Literary and Industrial Training School for Negro girls with $1.50 faith in God and 5 little girls, and now that school is the illustrious Bethune-Cookman University in Daytona, Florida. I'm trying to tell you, Dr. McLeod had to make it do what it do. In 1881, Spelman College, watch this, was started in the basement of Friendship Baptist Church in Atlanta, Georgia, as a seminary for females, because those sisters decided we just got to make it do what it do. Historically, black colleges and universities, that's why I promote it, that's why I support it, because when doors were closed for us in other areas, I appreciate our ancestors who just put nickels and dimes together, met in kitchens and basements to make sure our people had access to education. Because we come from a people, some can swim, some on boards, and others had to make it on broken pieces. And then even when it comes to breast cancer awareness, brothers and sisters, I, like some of you, maybe you won't admit it, I was trying to wonder, why do we just focus on breast cancer during this month? What is the significance of breast cancer awareness? Most black churches are going to have a Pink Sunday. Y'all know what I'm talking about, where we pause and honor those who lost their lives to the fight. We pause and celebrate those who are in the fight, and we try to give preventative information to help other sisters and brothers make sure they are prepared for the fight. I started doing some research, because even when it comes to health disparities, which that word disparity only means a great difference. So whenever you see that word disparity, educational disparity, economic disparity, health disparity, policing disparity, hiring practices disparities, that means it's a great difference. And when it comes to black women with breast cancer, there is a great health disparity. It means it's a great difference. Researchers are studying now that black women are more likely to die from breast cancer than white women. More white women will get it, but more black women, 40% are more likely to die from it. And so I started digging. What is it about black women's beautiful bodies that allow them to be more susceptible to this fight of breast cancer? It's for a few reasons. Cancer is more likely to metastasize in the body of black women. That word metastasize means it's a pathogenic agent which spreads from one initial site to a different site or a secondary site within the host's body. So that means that the cancer is more likely to metastasize, and they're doing research now, and it suggests that it's because of genetics, it's because of less access to mammograms, and we have lower quality health care in some of the African American communities. Teach Sharpe, I'm trying. So because of the less access that we have to mammograms, because of the lower quality, the disparities, the great difference in our healthcare systems, and because of genetics, black women, and because it's more likely to metastasize and move from the initial place to a secondary place, this ain't something we can play with, sisters. So we will continue to pause and honor those who won their fight in a different way and made it on to heaven, those who are in the fight right now fighting all kinds of cancers. And I want to do some preventative teaching in our church so we don't just look for prescriptions once we get sick, but we can have some preventions in place to keep us from becoming sick. Because some of us can swim, but some of us are going to make it on boards, and others of us are going to make it on broken pieces. With the issue of domestic violence, 1 in 4 women are going to face domestic partner abuse in their lifetime. 1 in 9 men are going to face domestic partner abuse in their lifetime. This is close to me because last year I shared in the message that I preached, and those of you that missed it last year, go back to YouTube and Facebook and type in the message, "Love Ain't Gotta Hurt Like This." I spent the whole message dealing with domestic violence because I made a commitment. When I was 24 years old at my first church, the House of Hope Macon in Macon, Georgia, 5 months into my first pastorate, a young lady by the name of Lasmaki Fountain was killed by her boyfriend. She was murdered by her boyfriend. She did everything right. She left the city. She tried to get away from him. You know how we say, well, why don't you just leave? You know, there are a lot of sisters and brothers who leave and they're still in danger. Yeah. Lasmaki left Macon, went down to Savannah, but there is a period in the cycle of abuse called the honeymoon phase. And he lured her back in during the honeymoon phase, right before the tension building phase, and bam, there's an explosion. That's the cycle of abuse. Well, a lot of people get stuck. I'm teaching. I hope you're listening. Because there's a honeymoon phase where I ain't never going to hit you again. I ain't never going to hurt you again. I ain't never going to do nothing. And he got her, lured her back to Macon, Georgia in the honeymoon phase and exploded and killed her in her grandparents' backyard. And I never will forget, I was 24 years old, and they asked me to do the eulogy, and 4 children sat on the front row that were left behind after their mother was murdered by a boyfriend. And I made a commitment to the family. There they go. Y'all give them a hand. Those young people are growing up, doing well. I'm still in contact with this family, because it was such a deep, deep connection. I promised my church every year I'm going to pause and make sure I do some teaching on domestic violence, because some of us can swim, but others are going to make it on boards, and some of us are going to have to make it, y'all going to get it in a minute, on broken pieces. And so while I couldn't get to Lasmaki, there's some other Lasmakis and some other Shans in the room, because it does not just affect women, it affects men too. Domestic violence is something that we have too often swept under the rug. See, disparities have affected black women when it comes to breast cancer. Discrimination affected black people when it came to instituting African American institutions, HBCUs. Discrimination kept us out of institutions and made us have to start HBCUs. Healthcare disparities have to make black women more conscientious about their health when it comes to breast cancer. But the culture of silence is what's killing women and men all across this nation. And so all I'm doing, I can't solve it all, I can't fix it all, but what you won't be able to do is be a member of Fellowship Chicago and say, my pastor didn't have the courage to call a thing and address the issues that everybody else want to keep sweeping under the rug. No, domestic violence is an evil that we must address. I want young ladies listening to me who aren't even married and in relationships to know it is not okay for men to put their hands on you in a certain way. Sisters, it's not okay for you to put your hands on men. Domestic violence goes both ways. 1 out of 4 women will deal with it in a lifetime. Stand up, Brandy. 1, 2, 3, 4. Stand up, Z. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. Count back. 1, 2, 3, 4. Stand up, Miss Josephine. 1, 2, 3, 4. Stand up, my sister in the hat. I mean, you so fly. Just go on. Stand up. Look at it. Just fly as you want to be. What's that? Squirrel, raccoon? What is this? What is this? Mink? It's fox. See, excuse me. Listen to this. So right here in this section, 1 out of 4. Are y'all catching the statistics? Look right here in this section. And I'm stopping before I really get started. Look at how many sisters in a lifetime could potentially face abuse. Thank you so much, my sisters. So 1 in 4 women, 1 in 9 men will face it. Women between the ages of 18 and 24 are most commonly abused by an intimate partner. Nearly 20 people per minute. Nearly 20 people per minute. Let me slow down. Nearly 20 people per minute are physically abused by an intimate partner. 37.7% of Illinois women will experience intimate partner physical violence, sexual violence, or stalking in a lifetime. 25.7% of men in Illinois will deal with the same types of abuse. Domestic violence, this word that we overuse so often, violence committed by someone in the victim's domestic circle. That's what makes it so tricky. This includes partners and ex-partners, immediate family members, other relatives, family and friends. The term domestic violence is used when there is a close relationship, y'all, between the abused and the abuser. Are you listening to me? And we're going to come to church and just shout it out. We're just going to come to church and pretend like it's not happening when I just told you 1 in 4 women in a lifetime will deal with some type of abuse. And then we get real, and then we get narrow-minded, and parochial is the word. We become narrow-minded, and we only talk about physical abuse. But don't you know verbal abuse is a thing? Don't you know emotional abuse is a thing? Don't you know financial abuse is a thing? Don't you know mental abuse is a thing? Don't you know intimidation is a thing? Don't you know, spiritual abuse is a thing? And why are you talking about it, preacher? Because some of us can swim. Some are going to have to make it on boards. And some of us are going to make it on broken pieces. And so what you want us to walk away with, preacher? I mean, you gave us the facts, you gave us the stats, you're walking heavy, you're waking us up to things that we've been asleep about, things we've just perpetually swept under the rug. Well, a couple things, sisters, I found this article and I want you to write this down because I want to leave you with something that's practical and helpful. Because black women, I know it's scary going to get tests. My mother didn't want to do it, but my grandmother had breast cancer. My mother lost 2 aunts to breast cancer. So my mother's fear of getting a mammogram kept her from going, but she had to face her fear. I found this article that says what black women need to know about breast cancer, and it was written by a black woman named Dr. Vivian B.E.A. Here is the 4 tips she wants you to hold on to, and I want you to hold to. You got to know the facts. You need to know the facts. You need to know the facts. At the conclusion of this message, I'm going to have a resource screen that pops up on the screen at the end of the message, and I'm going to have some resources, some websites that you're able to go to. You got to know the facts. Stop letting your cousin from the South Side tell you what she heard on a YouTube ad going to watch another video. You have to know the facts and the stats. Why, preacher, do we have Breast Cancer Awareness Month? Why do we wear pink? Because our bodies genetically are more likely to be affected. Here's another stat that we missed. Men can have breast cancer too. You got to know the facts. Number 2, you got to get screened. And this black sister said, and bring a friend. Go get screened and bring a friend. When you bring a friend, it lowers your anxiety. And then number 3, here's another one. She said, don't believe the myths. So then some women discover that they have breast cancer. And so here's what happens. They don't want to get the surgery because somebody told them if I have the surgery, it's going to spread. She said, that's a myth. There are women that won't go get a mammogram this year or last year because they said it's COVID-19 and you have been everywhere else. Uh-oh, y'all don't like, I'm too close. You got that hair done. You got them nails done. That acrylic is popping today. You got that lipstick. Huh? You been to the mall. You been to Cabo. You been to Mexico. You been like Stella and got your groove back. Some of us, I've seen you on your Instagram story. Y'all better block me. I see it all. You've been backing that thing up, dropping it like it's hot. I've seen it. You've been everywhere else. But you can't go get a mammogram? Number 4. See, y'all, it's y'all's fault. Y'all let me be your pastor. It's your fault. Number four. She said, know your breasts. So check. You know when something not looking right? So what she says, don't ignore the signs. Make sure you don't feel any lumps. Make sure that there's no discoloration. Make sure there is no, make sure that there's no, what's the word I'm looking for? Discharge. Huh? You understand what I'm saying? So this black sister gave y'all the tips. Go get you. And here's what they say. Even though black women are more likely to suffer from this, early detection can save lives. Why are you talking about this, preacher? Because some of y'all can swim. But others are going to make it on boards. And the rest of us got to make it on broken pieces. When it comes to domestic violence, I need you to understand the cycle of abuse, because the only way you can break a cycle is to know you in a cycle. I just said something. You got to know that cycle, honeymoon, tension building, explosion, honeymoon, tension building, explosion, honeymoon, tension building, explosion, honeymoon, tension building, explosion. Somewhere along the way, you got to wake yourself up and say, hold on now. Now, we done been through this enough. You done told me you wouldn't do it again. You told me you were going to seek help. You told me you weren't going to let it bother you that much. You told me you were going to. Now, either you going to go to therapy or we going to have to figure this thing out, because we can't keep going through this. Come here, brothers, let me holler at you. We always talk to the victim, but let me talk to the abuser. Who broke you down that low that you gotta now break somebody else down to feel like you somebody important? Go get yourself healed with that toxic masculinity. Usually the one pretending to be strong is the weakest in the room. I come in the name of Jesus to declare we're cycle breakers at Fellowship. And we don't have to keep going through your mama might have gone through it, your aunties might have gone through it, your daddy might have gone through it, but there's about to be an interruption in this generation. Some can swim. Some are going to make it on boards. And some of us just got to make it on broken pieces. Tell somebody around you, you're a cycle breaker. You're a cycle breaker. It ain't just for abuse. Whatever cycle's been in your family, I come to release you in the name of Jesus that you are a cycle breaker. The cycle of poverty, the cycle of lack, the cycle of abuse, the cycles of a sickness, the cycles of illness that you just thought just had to come to you because they're in your genes, in your generation. The devil is a liar. You got a God that says, I have come that you might have life. Tell one more person, and this time a shift is about to hit the room. Break those cycles. You better act like you know who your God is. And I might not be able to stop it all, but I'm going to use my voice, and you got to use your voice, and we got to be courageous together because some sisters need us, some brothers need us, some children need us, and brothers, we got to man up and find healthier ways to deal with our anger. Sisters, you got to woman up and find healthier ways to deal with your anger, because you're a cycle breaker. You're a cycle breaker. It don't have to be like this, and it ain't gonna be like this. And I'm gonna keep talking about it till you're so uncomfortable until you don't make it like this. One of the things psychologists teach, y'all be seated, I'm just teaching. One of the things psychologists teach is wrong with us is that silence keeps stuff going on and on and on. So for my note takers who want to take some notes, break the silence, save a life. Break the silence, save a life. Break the silence, save a life. Break the silence. You got to create an atmosphere where people know they can trust you with it. But if you don't talk about, and then watch this, under the ugly underbelly of domestic violence is people who feel the need to stay because of religious beliefs. And last year, I went viral again because I used my voice to say, at this church, this black pastor is not going to encourage any woman or any man to stay in any relationship, be it dating or marriage, where any type of abuse is going on and the person that's abusing you ain't willing to change. So divorce it is. I sign your marriage certificate, bring me your divorce certificate. I'll sign that too. Now let me go viral again. The devil is a whole lie, and slewfoot too. No, you're not going to walk around and live your whole life miserable because you think you're going to please God. God is not pleased with you staying in something that's killing you. Some can swim. Some on boards, but others going to make it on broken pieces. I couldn't get to everybody because some folks are still going to pass. Some are going to fight fights with breast cancer even when they do everything right. Still going to pass. Some man, some woman today, somewhere, is going to lose their life to a case of domestic violence. I can't grab them all. I can't save them all. I know this sermon. Some of you are like, what's the point? You can't do because all I can do is take my little pebble and drop it in the lake and create some ripples and trust that God will transform that ripple into a wave. But if I get my rock, and you get your 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 rock, and we all throw. That's how change happens. It never happens with the majority. It happens with a few faithful minorities who made up their mind. You ain't gonna take my voice. I'm gonna talk about this. I'm gonna save a life even if it costs me something. Because some can swim. Some are gonna make it on boards. And some are gonna make it to the shore on broken pieces. There's a sister at our church this week. When I tell you it's been a heavy season, I mean, when I tell you it's been a heavy season. So I took a few days just to relax, recover, recharge. Because I said, God, I got a lot more to do this year now. I need a few days. So me and Bree went and chilled. I feel my help now. While I was chilling, so people like, Pastor said this at my installation, didn't he? He said, y'all think we work a 9 to 5. We work a 24/7. And so I was chilling, and that's fine because this is ministry. It happens. Somebody texted me. She's one of my sweetest members who I love, and she's probably watching now. She texted me, and she said, Pastor, I have some hard decisions to make, and I need your help. So because of where she is in her life right now, we can't talk. We had to text. And so her health has her in this position. So I said, is this the best way to communicate? I want to do whatever I can do to help you. She said, texting is fine. She said, they gave me the option of ventilator or hospice. And then the third option is, see, this is real life. So you think you got something to complain about. And then you hear what others are going through and you say, now you know what, Lord? That little knucklehead coworker at the job is not going to take my joy another week. This lady has an option of ventilator, hospice care, or just let nature take its course. So I'm texting because she said, fear is underneath all of this. I said, well, what are you fearing about the ventilator? She said, I'm fearing if I get on it, I'll never get off. I said, well, what are you fearing about hospice? She said, my daddy died in a hospice. And that just seems like a dead end to me. So we worked through fear of hospice, fear of ventilator. So I was just digging, doing pastoral care. What are you fearing? And I said, if I could be honest with you, it sounds like your fear is deeper than ventilators and hospice care. It sounds like you're afraid of death. She said, I am afraid of death. So then I had to do some more digging. I said, why are you afraid of death? She said, I'm not ready yet. She said, I have a book I want to finish, and I don't want to leave my family. They are going to be devastated. I said, well, what are the things? I said, now listen. Now we're in a place where we can talk on an even playing field. I said, we all have to die. We just don't know when that time will be. I said, so here's my last question for you. I want you to think about it. What can you do with whatever time you have left that would make you feel like when death comes, you're ready for it? She said, I got to finish my book. I have some more stuff I want to write. And she named a couple other things. I said, well, let's spend the rest of our days doing the stuff that'll give us satisfaction and wholeness and joy, that if death comes, at least I die empty. At least I die in a way where I have done some things that are significant enough that my legacy will live on after I close my eyes, because some can swim, some are going to make it on boards, some are going to make it on broken pieces, but some of us aren't going to make it to the earthly shore. We got a heavenly shore we're headed to. And I came to let somebody know, in the middle of a breast cancer fight, in the middle of a cancer fight, in the middle of terminal illness, you better fight till you can't fight no more. Don't you let a doctor, a diagnosis, the enemy, your fear keep you from living. I got 2 points and I'm done. Point number 1, don't lose your fight. Point number 2, don't lose your faith. Grab onto a board, grab onto a broken piece and make it to the shore by any means necessary. I need somebody that got some fight left in you. Now, if you ain't got no fight, just sit right there. I want to talk to the saints that got some fight left. The devil knocked the wind out of you. The sickness knocked the wind out of you. But you got some fight left. Come here, Miss Annie Benson. Come here, Miss Anita Forte. Come here, Deacon Linda Denard. You still got some fight. I may not be able to swim, but I'm going to grab on a board. I may not be able to grab a board, but I'm going to grab onto a broken piece. Tell somebody around you, don't lose your fight and don't lose your faith. Somebody praise God that you making it on broken pieces. I'm trying to hold it together. I said I was going to be calm and pedagogical today and just teach, but I feel a shift up in this atmosphere. Can you write it on the chat? Can you tell somebody near you, make it by any means necessary? Tell your 3 people, grab those broken pieces. I know your health is broken. I know your marriage is broken. I know your home is broken. I know your finances are broken. I know some dreams are broken. I know some visions you had are broken. But just grab the scraps and tell 3 people, make it do what it do. Make it do what it do. Make it do what it do. You ain't telling nobody. Write it in the chat. Open your mouth under the mask. Tell somebody, make it do what it do. This too shall pass. The storm is not going to kill you. And even if you go down as a testimony that it ain't no secret what God can do. Even if I die, I'ma die giving him glory. I'ma die as a witness. I'ma die telling my testimony. If it had not been, y'all excuse me. If I die, I'ma leave here in my purpose. If I die, I'ma leave here telling somebody about Jesus. If I die, I'ma die telling them we've been made. I'm trying to hold it together. I'm trying to hold it together. Endure for a night, but joy. Somebody thank God for some broken pieces. Broken pieces kept your mama and them. Broken pieces helped you push through the grief. Broken pieces helped you save your marriage. Broken pieces gave you energy to get out the bed again. Broken pieces. So don't lose your fight. Don't lose your faith. I'm looking at some survivors in the room. Can I just see some survivors? And you ain't got to tell nobody what you survived. Just wave your hand at home. Wave your hand in the virtual ship. Wave your hand today and just say, I am a survivor. Some survived breast cancer. Mr. Linda Rice on the front row was our first member at fellowship that got COVID-19. Was on a ventilator for 4 or 5 weeks. While she was on the ventilator, her husband passed. She came to, didn't even know her husband had passed, and she's in church today. Because I'm just trying to tell you, even when he ain't got but a little bit left, he'll give you a few pieces. Wait, some can swim. Some gonna make it on boards. And some of us gonna make it on broken pieces. But can somebody thank God for the possibility of survival? Come on, somebody just pause and thank God for the possibility of endurance. I told you this was the heaviest message I had to preach this year. Somebody's fighting cancer and illness. Let me see your hands. If you're fighting a health challenge today, let me see your hand. I see you. I see you. I see you. I see you. Some know people who have fought and survived or are in domestic violence challenges. If you know somebody, let me see your hand. Let me see your hand. And then some of us may not be cancer, it may not be domestic violence, but you've been through some stuff where all you had was a few pieces left and God brought you through. Come on, that's a good place to praise him right there. That's a good place. Swim if you gotta swim. Hold on to the boards and the planks if you have to. Or just grab on to some broken pieces. And I want you to do what I told my sister who's going through a battle of a lifetime. None of us know our time, elder. None of us know our time. So, Dr. Walker, we got to be committed not to waste time since we don't know our time. All hands lifted to heaven. God, some of us are walking in some strange seasons. Worry, stress, fear, anxiety, grief, disappointments, broken dreams, unfulfilled hopes, deferred and delayed possibilities. God, some of us just miss our loved ones. God, others of us are going through personal fights that we don't even want to talk about. And God, others of us, we are soldiering through some heavy seasons. And God, I thank you for the word that you've given us in such a unique and strange way of how Paul and those prisoners made it to the shore. God, give us the strength to swim and give it all we've got. God, give us the courage or the sense to grab onto some boards and some planks and float our way to the shore. And then, God, for those of us who are in desperation, help us to know it ain't all got to be perfect, that you can do a lot with a little. Yes, God. God, you can do a lot with a little. All David had was 5 stones. All Moses had was a rod in his hand. All Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego had was a little courage. All Naomi and Ruth had was a little faith and friendship. All Peter had was a little courage. All Jesus had was 2 nails, a little cross on a little hill, and he saved the whole world. God, you could do a lot with a little. And so remind us, everything doesn't have to be perfect for us to have progress. Help us to stay focused and to give it our all. This is our prayer in Jesus' name. Let the people of God say amen.
I told you, family, you were in for a treat. Some of us have made it because we've been able to swim. Some of us have made it because we made it on boards, but other of us have made it because we've held on to the broken pieces in our life. I want to encourage you, family, if you are in the middle of a challenge, if you are in the middle of some situation that you think is too big for you, I want to offer Christ to you. Information is coming up on the screen right now. You can text or email us if you would like to make Jesus your choice. Jesus is the one who can help you make it on the broken pieces of your life. Jesus is the one who can help you make it when you have boards to hold on to. And Jesus is the one who can keep you afloat even though you can swim. So we encourage you, family, please join Jesus in the effort to help you make it do what it do. Again, family, 7 ways to give are coming up on the screen. We want to encourage you to be a blessing. I pray this word has blessed you tonight. I encourage you, if you can, give a $20 seed that sows into this word that says, I know that I can make it on broken pieces. Be a blessing to fellowship. We thank you for being a blessing to us so we can continue to give you this manna, give you this these words each and every week. We encourage you, family, to please be generous in your giving. Again, we have a plethora of things going on here at the ship. We encourage you to go to fellowshipchicago.com to see all that's taking place right here at Fellowship Chicago. I want to offer the benediction to you. May your struggles keep you near the cross. May your troubles show that you need God. May your battles end the way they should. And may your bad days prove that God is good. I pray that your entire life continues to prove that God is good. Make sure, family, this week you smile again. Have a great week. Take care. Peace, peace.
Thank you for worshiping with Fellowship Chicago on the virtual ship. We've always had a commitment of service, and during this season, we've increased our efforts to serve you better. We have made it easy for you to stay connected to get the complete resources you need. You can email us at info@fellowshipchicago.com. Call the church office Tuesday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. at 773-924-3232. And our social media on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. For real-time updates, you can text Fellowship Chicago to 55949. We have exciting and informative resources throughout the entire week designed specifically with you in mind. Go to fellowshipchicago.com for the full schedule. Until we dock again, thank you for your prayers and financial support of Fellowship Chicago. Remember, we are in this together.
Shut your spirit, kept his word. That's all you heard. Now unto him who's able to do it